When to have your reception is another big decision, and you have to take into account a lot of different factors when you make the decision. First, you need to consider, do you want an afternoon, evening, later into the night reception? Because that'll help you determine where you're going to have it and what style it's going to be. You need to consider what you want to do between the ceremony and the reception. Are you going to take your formal pictures after the ceremony? Do you want to go to a park or to a bar or drive around in a bus with your friends? These are things you need to decide on so that you can see how much time you're going to need between the ceremony and the reception. You need to decide what time your reception is going to start and how late you want it to last. If you're going to have a lengthy period of time between the ceremony and the reception, do you want to have a cocktail hour? Do you want to be there for the cocktail hour, or would you rather make an entrance after your guests have been seated in the hall? These are all good things to consider. Now consider your guests. If there's a long gap, several hours or more between your ceremony and your reception, where are your guests from? If they're local, they can probably go home. They're liable to change out of their fancy clothes if they do that, though, just a warning. If they're from out of town and they're staying in a hotel, they may go back to their hotel room. If you're going to have a large block of guests coming from out of town and staying in a hotel, it's always nice if you can book a block of rooms at the same hotel and maybe even have your reception at that hotel to make it really convenient for your guests. If a lot of your guests are driving from far away, an hour or two or more, and there's a lengthy gap of time between the ceremony and reception, what are they going to do? Is there something you can provide? A relative's home where they could go perhaps, or a restaurant that they could visit? Always nice to just kind of think it through for them. If you're going to have a cocktail hour, be sure you have seating for some of your older guests that may not be able to stand for very long. Something else you're liable to see, if people do need to drive a long distance, is that they may choose whether to come to the ceremony or the reception because they won't have anything to do in the middle. I had a family party a few years ago with relatives from Iowa who had to drive about 2 hours to come to Omaha, and they chose to only come to the party in the evening. So if you don't mind that your guests may choose one or the other to come to and then return home, then that's fine. If it's really important to you that the people come to both the ceremony and the reception, then it's really helpful as a host to provide some type of environment where the guests can relax and spend some time before they proceed on to the reception.